Κυρίες και κύριοι, αγαπητοί φίλοι, η πρώτη ενότητα θα ολοκληρωθεί με την επόμενη παρουσίαση. Η παρουσίαση θα γίνει στην αγγλική γλώσσα από τον κύριο Χρόνη Καπαλίδη από το Information Security Forum. Κύριε Καπαλίδη, καλώς ήρθατε και ο λόγος είναι σε εσάς.
Καλώς σας βρήκα, καλημέρα. Ναι, θα την κάνω στα αγγλικά για να επωφεληθεί και το διεθνές κοινό που έχουμε. So, good morning everyone. Thank you for inviting me. Today I will be walking you through the Threat Horizon report that we have produced at the ISF. But before doing so, let me tell you a few things about the ISF. So the ISF, the Information Security Forum, is a global non-for-profit organization which does research and produces tools and brings together a community about information security and risk management. We have more than 1,800 users around the world, and it's all about working together. It's all about content capability and community within the information security and the cybersecurity industry. This is the agenda that I will walk you through, but the Threat Horizon report that I mentioned initially is the main piece of research that we carry out every year at the ISF, where we are trying to identify what the threats are going to be in a 3-year trajectory. So we are trying to see what will happen in the years to come and what are the problems that information security professionals will face in their everyday jobs. This presentation will focus on the Threat Horizon 2022 report, so we can see what we expect to happen this year. So the main theme that we identified in our research is that digital and physical worlds will be colliding this year. These are the 3 themes, and I will walk you through each one of them, making very specific recommendations. So the first one looks at invasive technology disrupting our everyday. These are the 3 threats that we have identified, and obviously you will have a copy of the presentations and it will be recorded, so you will be able to go through them. You can also visit the ISF website at securityforum.org in order to download the executive summary. So what we have seen for this specific threat is that new technologies will further invade every element of our daily, both professional and business lives, with sensors, with cameras, with other devices which are embedded in our homes, offices, factories, and public spaces. Me alone, I have 3 CCTV cameras in the place that I live now in my house. A constant stream of data flow will go between the digital and the physical worlds in order to keep everyone connected, with attacks on the digital world directly impacting the physical, the convergence of security, as we have been discussing a lot in the industry. And this will create several consequences for our privacy, for our well-being, and our personal safety. So what should we do? Well, the first thing we should do is rethink about the models that we have in assessing and managing risk. Are they effective? Are they fit for purpose for this new world that we are all in because mainly of the pandemic? We should also create transparency on how we collect the data, how we analyze the data, and how we use the data by looking at legal and contractual exposures. It is very important, especially if we look at supply chain. There's a lot of work that's currently being done on data privacy issues in the supply chain. But we should also develop a very effective, a very agile way of responding to this digital transformation, but mainly aligning our work as information security professionals with the business objectives, which is fundamental, and it's one of the key elements that we look at the ISF. The second threat looks at neglected infrastructure, the Internet of Forgotten Things, as we call it, which cripples operation. Again, these are the threats. Have a look, but the technical infrastructure upon which organizations rely, which is always increasing, it's becoming much more software enabled, will face threats from a growing number of sources, obviously man-made, natural, and accidental, but mainly malicious. In a world where constant connectivity and real-time processing that we are all engaged in is vital in order to continue our business, even brief periods of downtime of systems being offline will have severe consequences. Even patching, in a lot of cases, is considered as downtime, and a lot of organizations are not happy to go through that process in a constant basis. So what should we do? Prevention, as you can see here, may not be possible, but preparation is. If we don't prepare to fail, we will fail to prepare. rethinking crisis management, disaster recovery, and business continuity plans. Again, let's look at the plans that we have in place and see how we can evolve them. We should conduct full risk assessments and with looking at all the external assets and services, including IoT, but including our supply chain. It's not anymore the periphery, the edge. It's a very well connected and huge network that we have to protect within our organization. We should generate a hybrid security approach, the convergence of security, as we discussed, now with cloud and edge computing coming together, and review the physical security controls we have in place. But also plan responses with business leaders. Again, the element of aligning information security and business, making security business relevant, as we call it at the ISF, is very important by engaging with the board. The third risk that we identified is about a crisis of trust undermining digital business. Again, you see here deepfakes, the new generation Gen Z, but also digital ethics abuse by hacktivists, which is may be exposed. So bonds of trust, and that is a fundamental element, the trust that we have on the systems that we use, that those bonds of trust will break down as emergency technologies and the next generation of employees tarnish brand reputations. They compromise the integrity of information and cause financial damage. We have seen cases where we have been very closely involved with incident response and recovery, where insider threats, individuals from the organization are taking advantage of the havoc that the business is going through when it's trying to respond to a ransomware attack for their own benefit. And this is a huge problem that we're dealing with, the element of trust here from your own employees. A crisis of trust between organizations, employees, investors, and customers, stakeholders, shareholders will undermine organizations' ability to conduct digital business. So how do we tackle that third stream of threats? We should invest in controls to protect against emerging technology-driven threats. There are specific controls, preventive controls that are out there, which is worth looking at and tailoring them to our organization. Not every solution works for every organization, but we should understand our environment, and based on that, we should adopt specific solutions and controls that will protect our everyday business. We should understand and monitor our brand identity on social media through an information security lens. We are seeing a lot the role that social media play daily over the last years. We are seeing that a lot of organizations are suffering just by not following specific guidelines and rules, and things they post on social media has a knock-on effect on their reputation and their brand. So it is important to include that. Again, we have seen a lot of cases where social media is used by employees unwillingly to share early information about an incident that occurs within an organization. So a social media policy, a concrete social media policy, should be in place. We should also review organizational agility to ensure that emerging technology and security mechanisms are incorporated as appropriate. Again, spreading information security controls and looking at security across the business, across the entire organizational structure, across all business function is fundamental. And finally, the ethical element, ethical dimensions into information risk assessment. We don't do that a lot, I have to say. We at the ISF have an information risk assessment and management framework, IRAM2. We work now on quantitative risk assessment, and the ethical part now is beginning to make its way into the agenda. So where does that take us? Where four main elements that we identified in this research. Information security is everyone's job. I think everyone agrees now with that. We should build accountability and responsibility and oversight within the organization, but mainly the accountability part goes to our boardroom. Our executives should understand what is at stake.
Kapalidis, παρακαλώ έχετε 1 λεπτό για να ολοκληρώσετε.
Είναι τελευταίο slide.
Ευχαριστώ. Σας ευχαριστώ.
And the most important part that I would like to focus is where CISOs must drive engagement. CISOs should talk the business language. We are seeing that a lot of organizations now are using business information security officers. So we as CISOs, we as information security professionals have a role to play in getting the message across our business function and help them understand what is at stake. Thank you for your time, and I hope I was within the allocated time frame.
Κύριε Καπαλίδη, σας ευχαριστούμε για την τήρηση του χρόνου και για την πολύ συνεκτική, περιεκτική και χρήσιμη παρουσίασή σας σε αγγλικά που μας έκαναν να χαρούμε που τα ακούμε μετά από καιρό.